Alright, hi guys, welcome back to the stream. Today we are doing another challenge run. We are going to be doing a 1 minion only challenge. So, it's going to be fairly straightforward. Usually in the any percent we use 2 minions. We use a Mardrag and an Arptron. Today we're going to see if we can do it with only one. So, as usual, I'll get straight into the run and I'll go over the finer details of the rules. So let's get started. So, normally we don't merge this one minion that we do capture, or the 2 minions that we do, but we are going to be allowed to merge the minion. That's just so we aren't going to be stuck against Delphinel, and I think it's actually going to be harder to beat Kashidra with a water minion, whereas it would be very hard to beat Turris with an air one. So we are going to be able to merge the minion. As usual, seals are not going to be permitted. So we won't be able to do standard Kikinak strat in the any percent. So we are going to have to level up our initial minion. And once we've picked our 1 minion, we are not allowed to change what our minion is. So it must be, while it can be merged, it must still be that same minion. That must always be the base minion that we use for our merges. So for example, if I had a Patimal as my 1 minion, I can merge that Patimal with a Mardrag, then that result with a Pantalchew, etc, etc, and that would still be one contiguous line. That's basically what we have to do with our merges.
It seems his puppy was stolen by a Na'vi woman, and he ran off. His son is still so young. Too young to become a cocoon master. Run away, will you?
So I have got a plan for this, as I always do when I think about these runs in advance. I suppose I won't be able to for next week's. So the idea I'm going to go with is to capture an Arptron, use the Arptron as our 1 minion. And we're going to try and get its attack stat as high as possible. And we're going to be doing that by merging it with Mardrags to boost its attack growth stat. Use that to defeat up to the first poacher for the Moth Forest. And then we're going to switch over to a bunch of Pantalchews that we catch. So we're going to capture 6 minions in the Beetle Forest, 3 Pantalchews and 3 Mardrags. So we're going to be using a fire minion to take down Turris rather than a water one. And this is just to keep that attack stat very high. May lose some speed from merging into the Pantalchews, which would be a bit bad for us, but it'll keep our attack high. We can heal Levant twice while fighting Turris before Levant's HP becomes a problem. So we'll heal that minion probably twice to take down Turris. Hopefully we'll get a nice fight where our mana isn't taken away from us. And then once we get to the Dark Spider Forest, we may take down the Wind Boss with our minion if the wrong warp if the wrong warp is a problem. We'll just take down the Air Boss because we're going to have one very strong fire minion. And then we'll merge it with Spirals. Potentially. We might not, since our capture level is going to be like 4, maybe 5. Probably capture level 5 at that point, or very high capture level 4. And Spirals are level 18. So capturing them is not going to be easy. Doable, yes. Easy, no. It would require a lot of luck. And the odds of Levant dying while attempting to do that quite high. My plan for the Kashidra fight, though, is a bit more involved. So, since we only have the 1 minion and Kashidra 2 shots Levant, So we're only going to be able to heal our minion one time, unless we catch Kashidra in an elemental switch. That's where we switch to Levant. Levant does a thing, has a turn. Then Kashidra's action is to change element, and then Levant gets another turn. And then you switch back into your minion. That's how you avoid Kashidra hitting Levant. And if we can do that, then we actually can get a lot of heals on our minion. And that'll make it a lot easier, but that's kind of hard to time. Kashidra changes element normally after 2 attacks. But it's not consistent. It can be 1, it can be 3. I think it can technically be higher than that as well, but I don't think I've seen that. And we want Kashidra to remain in the air element and the fire element as long as possible. Because of course, the laser, the strongest attack Kashidra can do, is going to be when our minion... Sorry, it's going to be when Kashidra is water and our minion is going to be weak to that. We are probably just going to have to accept that our minion needs to block while Kashidra is water, and accept that if Kashidra heals, Kashidra heals. Because I think if we block, that will sufficiently reduce the damage from the laser so that our minion doesn't just die on the spot. We may have a few Tendais if we're lucky. So we'll use that to compensate. But generally speaking, I want just Bugworts for Levant, bitter ones specifically, if possible, because we can use that to basically guarantee that we get the Kashidra heal off. And liquors. Lots of them. So Kashidra's going to be a little bit tricky. I don't have any worries about Delphinel as such, but because of Delphinel, that's why we're going to be using a fire minion. It's also because Kashidra starting in Earth isn't really a nice way for you to start fighting him. Switch into your minion, immediately take an attack your minion's weak against. The actual damage output wouldn't be that different, to be fair. Because Kashidra wouldn't take reduced damage because of being water, and neither would Delphinel, actually. But we'd need a minion with water attack on a part of the minion that we need to capture later than the Beetle Forest. And I'd like to keep the amount of captures we use to a minimum. Not out of necessity, I just rather do fewer captures, really. Which is why we'll see what our minion stats are looking like before we try to merge spirals into them. Yeah, the run should be relatively straightforward, I think. In terms of what we're able to do to help us, you know, it's kind of, there's not that much we can actually do.
According to tradition, I hereby proclaim your coming of age. Your bride from this day forward,
Grabbing a Pat Manti might be an option as well, and we can get drain HP on our minion. The only question of there would be when do you actually use it? Because I think you just continue to use... Really, I think you just continue to use your fire attacks, and you ignore the drain HP. But if you did capture it, that might be an option for where to go should our planned strat fail. But we'd need to capture that Pat Manti as we go by. Because of course we can't return to that forest at that point. All we can do is merge with things we find in the Dark Spider Forest, and we have to get there. And by get there I mean we have to capture something that's 15, sorry not 15, like 10 capture levels above us. But again, doable. It's not nice to do, but it's doable. Because we'd have to capture, I guess you'd just start capturing things to get it up, so you capture like a Turgle or something. Not Turgle. I always call them Turgles, they're not called Turgles. It's the Earthbow Bends is what I was thinking of, but I can't remember what they're called. I can never remember what they're called. For a level 10 Minion is actually very weak. Like, really seriously weak for a level 10 Minion. I guess they made his stats that way just because they want you to die after his full attack cycle. Something funny I noticed actually, when you go onto the previews for any of my videos, they almost always preview Minion killing us. Because of how the timing works out, it's almost always just Minion killing us on the preview. Either as he does his final attack, or as it, or as the screen goes white after he kills us. I assume that to be the second Minion fight, but it could be the first. I don't know how video previews work in that regard. So I'm just going to check my settings because I feel like I've got something on wrong. Yeah, I thought I did. Should be on instant. I was having to press twice as many X buttons to get through the dialogue. Something feels wrong. There we go. Having to double press on all those dialogue boxes will of course cost us time, but we aren't too concerned about how much time we actually use. Anything under 3 hours is fine. I wonder what the time difference actually is from just having those text boxes being slightly slower. Because to be fair, you do click through them at a significantly slower rate. Probably costs you like a full minute if I'm honest. Probably a lot of time. I guess the preview for this one won't be Minion killing us then, on account of that. There'll be some other point in the fight. Yeah, like, we normally capture Optron in about 10 seconds from now. Like, that's when the capture actually happens, so that's... It kind of tells you the significance of those, of the text box settings. Right. Our one and only Minion. Not the only thing we'll capture, but the only thing we'll, the only Minion we'll equip. I did have a bit of a debate with myself whether or not I'd want to use Mardreg instead. But I think that 10% damage buff it's just too much to pass up on. And the increased base speed that Arbitron has is obviously going to come down from the minions we're going to merge with it. Until we merge it with spirals, but... well, if we merge it with spirals. But it's too good to ignore. So we want paddle shoes. So to do that, we're going to switch the element to air for this room. And that should make paddle shoes spawn later. We'll see how we are with the primal dodges today. Very bad. Very bad. I swear, as soon as I start trying to do them in front of like a live audience, or just streaming in general, I suddenly suck at them. Anyway, see if this Primal's too far, or Squasp's too far forward now to dodge. We'll see. Oh, why is that with me? Okay. Bad escape luck as well. You'd love to see it. This HP damage is actually going to be a problem. Capturing 3 paddle chews in one go. I just want to capture 3 paddle chews, and then wrong walk to the end. That's what I want to do. Where I will then purify and equip the Arbitron. Level it to about level 4? 4 or 5. And then merge. I think I'll go to level 5 with it, and then merge 3 Mardregs into it. Since we can't use seals to take down Kikinak. I'm going to appreciate this paddle chew if it doesn't hurt us any more than this. I didn't actually expect that didn't realise we were about to get a double turn. You're on 3 health. You're meant to just get in the cocoon at that point. Paranoid my options are incorrect. Oh no, they're actually fine now. Okay. So yeah, we took... I was thinking of resetting the thing, but I forgot there was another package up here. Resetting the room. Yes, we took a bit of damage from that. And by a bit, I mean... our odds of capturing... we're gonna have to heal before we can capture a third. just a tad frustrating. When I was doing tests for next week's challenge, not once did I get hit by those primals. As soon as I do it in this context, can't dodge to save my life. Horrific. Oh, I also didn't do my attempts yesterday. I'm planning on doing them tomorrow. The any percent run attempts, and that's because I basically realized that I was warming up every time. Basically during the any percent runs, and then I would do better at the wrong warps and all the rest of it during the challenge runs. Because I've only been playing the game for like 2 days a week. Playing on the Tuesday and then the Wednesday, and not playing. I don't know why I went all the way back here. I was just idly thinking. Yeah, I was only playing 2 days a week on the Monday and on the Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I wouldn't play again for the remaining 5. And then the first thing I do every single time is those any percent runs. And I think that makes it a bit harder for me to do well during those any percent runs. Wait, were those Tasha's? And the elements switched because we went out through that bottom screen. They didn't respawn anyway, so we're gonna have to do this again anyway. Strictly luck based this, unfortunately. There we go. But yeah, so I thought I would do the challenge run first, where I'm rusty and a bit all over the place, and then hopefully I'll be properly warmed up from doing the challenge run for the 100% runs, or at least more warmed up. Not necessarily that warmed up, because of course I'm still doing the first runs that day. After this, I will be doing my wrong warp practice as well. Alright, give me the paddle shoe. Yeah, we'll be doing the wrong warp practice where I continually butt my head against the wrong warps that I suck at. Which is not going to be so fun for me. I'm not going to stream that, obviously, because that's me just doing one thing over and over and over. It's not what I'd call exciting. Okay, we got the 3 paddle shoes. Capture level 3, very nice. So yeah, we'll be capture level 5 once we're done capturing the Mardregs. You can wrong warp from either side of this screen, and going into that screen. I'm just going onto this side because I think it's easier. Might be a little bit too early. No, it's not. Okay. The window there seems quite large compared to some of the others. Alright, so we want our Mardregs now. So we're going to fight the first Mardreg with Levant. And then we're going to, when it's weak, we're going to switch to Arbitron. Arbitron will finish it off. course, speak to Marbu to get that Arbitron equipped. Yeah, I'll get Arbitron to level 3, then we have it fight another. In fact, I'd probably have it then fight a... Maybe I should fight a Haralka instead. Haralka's a level 4, but they have, generally speaking, worse stats than a Mardrag. But I don't know how easily Levant can take them down. Probably worth a try. Spend a bit more money than I usually do. I did remember to equip Arbitron, didn't I? Cool. Just taking it safe, being a bit cautious. I'm talking a lot, so I'm not really thinking that hard about what I'm doing. So maybe we try to fight a Haralko instead. To get it to be a wind Haralko, we need it to be a Mardrag. Now, I don't know about you, but I was not keeping track of the amount of element switches I did. But I think I needed to switch it one more time. Oh, I was right, cool. I don't think you can walk past this Mardrag. We'll give it a go. No. For a second I thought, oh, we might actually get past it. Nope. We'll get past the second one, of course. Yeah, we'll use a level 5 Arbitron to weaken the Mardrags for us. So, we will kill this Mardrag with Arbitron, then we'll use Arbitron level 3 to take down Haralko. And then, you know, just fight 2 Haralkos, that'll get Arbitron to level 5. Merge in the Mardrags. Probably fight 1 more, because that'll put Arbitron on level 6. Fight Kikinak with an air Arbitron. Oh, very sorry. My controller unplugged itself and then immediately replugged itself in. For some reason, my system sounds are incredibly loud. Like, even in comparison to everything else. Right. Mardrag should be sufficiently weakened. I was hoping it doesn't just one-shot Arbitron, that'd be a bit sad, wouldn't it? There we go. We'll heal up Levant in the event that we need to use him to help Arbitron get the damage on. Right. Let's go find a Haralko. So there could be one there. Oh, there you go, there's 2. Well, there's 2 that could be here. And there is. So we have Shablika, so we'll just use Arbitron. We got 2 from the Beetle Forest. Haralkos actually have terrible stats. It's not very fair if you crit me though. But anyway, the important thing is that their stats aren't good. Now I hope... That's not going to do that much to us, but we need to heal our Arbitron first. I probably could have attacked again, and then switched, but I may as well have Arptron tank, sorry, Levant tank one hit. Got an extra turn on us? I was not expecting that. Okay, one regular attack should now finish it off. I can't remember if Haralkos have enough mana to do 3 of those or just the 2. I think they should have enough mana to do 3 of them. Sadly, you can only get Haralkos in the Wind or Earth variant, like the Mardregs. So they're not very good for... So they're not very good for leveling Arptron. If we could encounter a fire one, it would be better, of course. But we can't, so this is what we got. Yeah, so the health and magic balance of this game is sort of it's crit again on this first attack is the same for all minions. And what I mean by that, sorry, really strange for a second. What I mean by that is basically you have the growth stat, or where the red dot is on the minion's chart between physical attack and magic is the only thing that dictates the health and mana of the minion. How far up and down it is, and that is it. So I can tell because of where. Nice, we'll use another liquor on Ultron. Now let's go capture some Mardregs. So basically, if a minion has less health than you but is the same level as you, then you know for a fact that it has more mana. Because that's strictly how that works. And if a minion has more health than your minion, then you know that it is more physically attack oriented than your minion. At least in terms of where that dot is. That's very rude. I was kind of hoping to only need to use, two special. Everything is critical hitting my Arptron. Everything. Is this going to be a trend? Am I going to have to deal with this for every single fight where everything critical hits my only minion? So if so, I'm not okay with that. I need things to not critical hit my one minion. Yeah, so basically after we've merged in these Mardregs, which have a higher base health than Arptron, Arptron's attack stat grows, his mana stat decreases. Seriously? Okay, well at least we blocked. This luck is I hope this is the bad luck we get in the run. I hope this is all the bad luck that we get out of the way immediately. So I don't have to deal with this horrific luck later on. I know that's not how luck works, obviously, but... Jesus. Okay, we'll use a regular Mugwort, and we'll just use Levant to capture the next one. And then Arbitron should have recovered enough to help us take on the one after that. We're capped level 4, so we don't necessarily have to weaken this Mardreg quite as much. I need a counter for how many times I'm critical hit. Is that the 4th? Is that the 4th time I've had a critical hit on me? I'm actually kind of scared for Levant here. He can so much damage. Like, the Mardreg's outpacing us in terms of damage, so we will actually have to heal Levant anyway. Again. I don't have to be too cautious with the heals on Levant because we aren't going to be using Levant to take down Geeky-Knack, of course. We will still pick up the regular host of items for the exclusive purpose of selling them, because they're worth a fair bit of money. Alright. Hit the Mardreg, capture the Mardreg. Yeah, so we'll come in here one more time after this. Fight one Mardreg to get Arbitron that final level. To level 6. Fight Geeky-Knack, that probably puts Arbitron around level 7. That should be more than enough to take down a Foul or Asher. Sorry, not a Foul. Fouls you don't encounter. A Shulia or an Asher. You don't encounter fouls in the regular game. They're in the Eternal Corridor. Correct species, wrong element. It's the Earth equivalent. I probably block here just to recover mana, so I can use one more special attack, and hopefully the Mardreg doesn't block it. As soon as that left my mouth, I was like, maybe I shouldn't say that in case that just causes it to happen. I wouldn't normally call myself superstitious, but I feel when it comes to Jade Cocoon I am. I can understand why sports players are superstitious, or believed to be typically. Logically, I obviously don't accept any of it. It's complete nonsense, but I just think it's framing of how you process things rather than anything else. But I've never believed myself to be lucky, so maybe that's it. Okay. So that took a bit of time, but we're now done with all our captures until the end of the game. And our Arbitron's going to look very much so like an Arbitron we've had before during the non-elemental run. We ended up with a very Mardreg looking Arbitron, and we're going to do so again here. So you see that health goes up and that attack goes up, and we care a lot about that attack stat. We want that attack stat to be nice and high. I'm a little bit worried that we're going to level up the Arpatron here. Not the end of the world if we do, to be honest. In fact, I think we will. That's fully acceptable, I think. I do think we're missing out on some stats potentially, but it's only one. It's fine. I guess we don't need to fight that extra Mardreg. How did we end up at level 5.5? We fought a Mardreg, our Arpatron to level 3, fought a Heralka, got to level 4, fought another Heralka, got to level 5. Where did a half experience level come from? Can I not count? Did I kill? I didn't kill a Mardreg after that point with Arpatron, did I? I'm a bit bewildered. The maths doesn't check out in my head. Genuinely no idea. Did I kill a third Heralka? I don't think I did. I guess I must have done. Not must have. You know what? I won't worry about it. I'll just be confused, it's fine. Might be a bit soon. Oh. Oh, it's always that one. Always that one. I'm gonna equip that. Silver crown now, actually. I think if we were facing at a slightly different angle, that may have got it. Unfortunately, the facing angle of Levant does matter for that trick. Oh, this Mardreg's back. We're gonna have to escape from him. I was hoping the other one would respawn. If the other one respawned, then yeah, job's a good one. I keep moving as if there's going to be a minion there, but there isn't. Turtle didn't move out of the way fast enough. Just one. Nice. One Rigu. Let's try this again. Oh, that's early. By a large margin. Is that early still? No, that was right. Gotta believe in myself. That's early. That might just be right, just, if it is. No. Ah. Hate that wrong warp. It's the worst. Absolutely the worst. Every other wrong warp is so much easier by comparison. If the poacher wasn't fire, I'd almost be tempted to just fight the poacher. But Goat is unfortunately a fire minion, which actually has a fire attack. Caught it that time, I caught myself. This time, please. Please. There we go. Oh. Okay, we have one level 6 minion and we have Shabalika. We can also punch him with Levant. We are allowed to do that. I'd rather not need to punch Kikinak with Levant, because it's not very fun. And by fun I mean he kills Levant in 3 hits. So needing to punch Kikinak is not that desirable. Your jaw right there, Arbitron. Jaw's looking a little dodgy. And just a little dodgy. The wings is almost gone. No double turn. Okay, what I'm afraid of here is that Kikinak gets a double turn, so I am going to use the liquor on our minion, just to make sure that we aren't worrying about double turns or whatnot. Our mana is non-existent because we've so heavily gone down the route of attack growth, or health up, I should say. Well, it is attack growth. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Attack growth is health growth in this game. There we go. Kikinak dead. He's not dead. He's stood right there, but he's weak. Thank you. Yeah, so he is level 6. So got level 7 air minion. They'll take on Ashulia. We'll just tank it with tank the initial damage with Levant as we usually do. Then instead of using seals to kill it, we'll just punch it to death. And that'll get our Arbitron to a high enough level to take down Gigoat. And then we'll probably need to use one of the liquors we find in the Moth Forest to heal Arbitron and then take down Poacher. Yeah, I'm still 1 in 3 on that wrong warp. Every third attempt I get it right. Not very helpful when you're trying to do 80% runs which rely on you not messing up that wrong warp. Alright, let's see if we can get this one. We want blue dragon? Yeah, we're learning. We're learning. Yeah, get it first try. And yeah, we did want blue dragon because now we have red snakes. You want blue dragon to get the red snakes to get the yellow snails. Makes perfect sense. Don't think too hard about it. Get the tree out of the way. There we go. So I think I've got a pretty good visual cue for the wrong warp in the spider forest now. Which means I'm decent at beetle. I can do pretty consistently. It's easy to retry anyway. Because it's very easy to know when you're going to hit it. Spider Forest 1 and Dragonfly 2. It's just Dragonfly 1 that I suck at. So while we're in this downtimey bit for a second, I'm going to talk about what next week's challenge is, because I'm very excited to do it. I basically spent a lot of time this week, not a huge amount, but long enough that it felt like a long time, staring the source code for the game in Cheat Engine. And I found the memory addresses that I need to modify in order to control what minions spawn in what slots. I am actually going to talk to her to heal me. So what we're going to be doing next week is we're going to be doing a random minion run where those memory addresses are randomized. I will also have to change off elemental switching, so that I don't know what minions I'm going to encounter, and we're going to do a blind random minion run. I have to switch off the elemental swapping, because if you don't, and say Arbitron is put into a forest, when you switch elements, the game doesn't know what to replace Arbitron with, and it crashes the game. For some reason, the what to switch with what doesn't seem to be stored in a easily controlled way. Because it looks at the memory address, it specifically looks at the memory address of the minion that it wants to swap out, rather than just going swap slot one with this thing. It instead goes, I looked at that minion was replaced with this minion, and that's much harder to find as far as memory addresses go. So the 46 slots in the game for what minions spawn are going to be changed. I'm going to be given the hex codes to substitute in at the start of the next challenge run, and I'm going to input those hex codes. I don't know the hex codes off by heart for every single minion, so it'll be as good as blind. I might recognize some hex codes, but at that point, you know, it's not really. I can't really formulate a plan based on the hex codes that I'm only going to see for 2 seconds as I'm entering them. Data entry is a bit mind-numbing. Unfortunately, I'm not that familiar with Lua, which is the scripts you can use for Cheat Engine, which I would then I would directly implement the script to randomize them there so that I am completely blind. But I'm not familiar with Lua to do it. I may do that at some point though. But the list of hex codes are going to be public. They'll be in the chat. In case anyone else who also knows the hex code, the memory addresses, wants to try the same run. Okay, we're not going to know what we're going to encounter. I think the Arbitron fight will still be an Arbitron fight, but we're going to skip over that. And then from that point, we can do Nuzlocke runs, where I don't know what minions we're getting. Which I think will be a possible recurring challenge that I think would be quite nice to do. You know, first thing you encounter, you can capture that. If it dies, it's gone for good, and you can only get 1 minion per forest. Discount Arbitron fight can't use Arbitron fight. I think that'd be very cool. There is also there's a bit of little extra that I've also put in, but I'm not going to give that away at this point just yet. There's a little extra on that challenge as well. I can't remember if Shilias actually use their magic if you block, so I'm just not going to, because I know this can't kill Levant anyway. Right, now let's have mana, let's beat it to death with our level 7. Yeah, the merge means the merge causing a level up does cost us a little bit in the stats department. Unfortunately. But I don't think significantly enough for me to care too much about it. It's probably going to get double turn here because they're very fast. Oh, never mind. Very easy fight, Shilias. Is that +5 attack? Pretty tasty. It's hard to read it quickly enough to actually see what it said, but I think it said +5. I think I have one more Meta Mugwort, which I'll use on Levant before we get into the poacher fight. So we're capture level 5, aren't we? So capturing a spiral is going to be a jump of 13 levels? If I can count. Which everyone who knows me knows. I cannot count. A part of me was debating. Do I use the Great Walnut? I probably shouldn't, because I want to buy bitter mugworts and good liquors for the later stages. So I probably shouldn't. I kind of need as much money as I can get my hands on. Still should only need 2 Devil's Mirrors. Bonk. Now if we've done our setup correctly, and by that I mean our merges have actually been useful to us, Gigoat should die in 2 hits to our physical attack. If they both hit, of course. Yeah, see, death in 2. So that's slightly, not massively, but slightly better than a Mardrag of the same level. And that's what we care about. We need a minion that's slightly stronger than a Mardrag. And by slightly I mean a lot stronger. Ideally. I think I just pressed the attack button to kill Poacher now. Yeah, we do more than enough. I thought we might need to heal the Arptron, but I think that only becomes necessary if Goat blocks us. Or Gigoat, rather. But they didn't, so. And all the levels can go onto this Arptron. Because we don't have any other minions. Why would they go on anything else? I was hoping for a bit more than just the Great Walnut, but we'll take it. Bonk. So, level 12 Arptron is strong enough to take down Turturus, but that's level 12 Water Arptron. We are level 12 Air Arptron right now, and we're going to be level 12 Fire Arptron. So, we probably want to go to level 13, maybe 14 even, with the Arptron. It is this minion is dodgeable. I just didn't want to. Well, I was hoping it didn't respawn. Really. I don't even know if you can dodge it once you get to that point. Like, once you're on that screen. I don't know if you have to start dodging earlier. Maybe you just take a wide angle. I'm not actually familiar with how you dodge that counter. Right. Straight to the... there we go. Sorry, did I just like stop talking mid-thought? Just run to the key slot and then just complete silence. Just start thinking to myself instead. No need for you guys to know what I'm To know what I'm thinking, that's not necessary for you. Yeah, so current thought is actually, do I level up Optron more immediately, or do I merge them with the paddle juice and then level them up more? I think I merge them with the paddle juice first. My only concern is that's going to take away more of our speed. And one of the few nice things that Optron can have against Tuturus is that you can get a double attack on Tuturus. Once you Deva's Mirror Arbitron, normally you then switch into Arbitron, and Tuturus gets a turn on your Arbitron, but then you get 2 attacks. Which I know is like, oh, it's actually the same amount, because then Tuturus attacks, and then you've attacked Tuturus twice, and Tuturus attacks you twice. But, importantly, that means that Tuturus only got 1 chance to steal all your mana before you hit him twice. Granted, provided you switch, and what I want to avoid is switching into, this is what I want to avoid, switching into Tuturus getting a turn, then me attacking, and then Tuturus getting another turn. By consequence of our speed being too low, because Levant's going to be a lot faster than our Arbitron. So I don't know if we still get that double attack. I don't think Tuturus ever gets a double attack on us. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I don't want Tuturus getting always alternating attacks, even with that extra attack on us first at the start. I'm also quite nervous about the amount of mana he steals from us. There is a minion we can capture to give us mana drain, which I believe does work on the bosses. They have infinite mana. The way the game's coded is that the minion itself doesn't have infinite mana, they actually have a certain amount of health, which is normal, it's actually not that high. They just have, the way they inflated the boss's HP bars was by reducing how much damage they took from everything, rather than increasing the actual minion health itself. It's like a level, what is it, level 15 Tuturus? I think, level 14 or 15. He'll have a very reasonable amount of health. In fact, our minions will likely, when you fight Tuturus, your minions will actually have more health than Tuturus. Not in the any percent run route, but in the if you're playing casually and you just level up your minions to like level 14, they probably have more health than Tuturus does. Tuturus has just much better attack stats and takes reduced damage from all attacks. And that's how they act, as if the bosses have more health. If you use, if you alter the memory addresses so that the game thinks you're fighting a different enemy, there's a memory address that basically says, what am I fighting, right? It sets to whatever the first minion you're fighting in the current fight. And if you set it to say a Mardrag, then if it's a boss fight, the music will remain as a boss fight, but the health bar will no longer be hidden, and the level will no longer be hidden. You can actually just read it. And there you can see that that their health isn't actually that much higher. You do have to find that memory address, but to be honest, it's not a very hard one to find. Alright, let's go sell all our stuff. I still have the Valerian powder. Got multi-seal from that Heralco, didn't I? I actually want the Pit of Mugwort, so we're not going to sell that. Okay, we'll we'll see how much what we can do with that. It's gonna cost us 255 to get the equipment one. Then we're gonna sell the silver crown that we picked up. So we got picked about 5,000 money total, while holding on to our bitter mugworts and whatnot. So, do we get sleep spores? I think we do, but we only get 3. Devil's mirrors, we need Devil's mirrors. Bitter mugwort costs so much, Jesus Christ. Okay, we'll get 6 of them, and then we'll get... What is this? Crazy. Absolutely insane. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to... I think we are going to merge the paddle shoes in now, just because our speed stat can be recovered, our attack... Well, our speed stat won't be recovered as much as it doesn't matter quite as much. We need to try and get as much attack out of this Arbitron as humanly possible. This is going to cost us a fair bit of speed, though. Oh, our attack stat actually goes down. Where are these paddle shoes? Oh, they're down there. That kind of hurts. Okay, I guess we're going to have to sacrifice a bit of attack as well. If we're lucky, we won't actually lose any attack. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, that's alright. We gained some magic attack, weirdly. But we kept... So we're at 40 physical attack right now. And we kept all the attack we gained. Our growth stat's now going to be a little bit lower than I'd ideally like, but I think it's still workable. I don't think it's bad at all. So really, I'd like to fight a Hackaroo here. Doesn't need to be that special, it just needs to be a Hackaroo. Something I maybe should have done is buy an extra Deva's mirror. Because we only have the 1 minion. I did not mean to sort my inventory, but not a big deal either way. Excuse me, swabs. Yeah, I think the time for this challenge run is going to be quite a lot more reasonable than some of the others have been. Just run around these guys. Okay, still pat drags rather than hackaroos. Oh. When did they wake up? I think it might be too late though. Yeah. What happens if you like warp out of the forest? Oh no, I know what happens if you if you leave the forest, as a minion hits you, a different glitch occurs where that minion basically, like, you lose your hitbox, but the minion doesn't lose the ability to move. So it's kind of funny. So the minion just sort of runs into like the center of your body. I shouldn't have waited that long for this was. Runs to like the center of your body without hitting you, and it just repeatedly runs in like figure 8. It's most easily notable with wasp enemies or minions like Peluja, who I believe has a wasp movement AI. And they'll just do figure 8s around you as you warp out. It's a bit of a weird glitch. Well, our jaw's fixed, but now our wings are still tiny. We still don't really have wings anymore. You can use one elemental attack to weaken this Patmanti, but I don't really want to until it starts trying to drain our health. Like now. It's okay. I don't know why it's not trying to drain our health, but you know what? I'm not going to be mad about that. I do not mind it not draining my health. +2 attack, we love to see it. Okay, so level 13, 1 minion. Higher attack than a normal Arbitron, but it is fire. How much mana does it have? Does it have 44? So it has less mana than a normal Arbitron, of course. I think a normal Arbitron has like 52 or so at this point. So we don't want... Basically, we just want him to use fire magic attack, as always. The thing you want Taturus to do all the time is fire magic attack, and that's what I want. The only time I like mana drain is if I'm coming into this fight with a bunch of Patmantis. Or, more appropriately, Squimals. Then I want the drain mana, because it does nothing. Alright, where's my mirror? Mirror my 1 minion. I really like Taturus' idle animation, by the way. Bonk. I think our defense is also higher than a normal Arbitron's by a considerable amount. But we still have the double turn. Oh, drain mana already? Okay. I think that actually did more damage to us than his poison tail. I think I'm right in saying that. So I think it's 6 hits to take down Taturus on our Arbitron. Which I believe is actually the same as normal. Levant's poison, that makes us sad, but Levant can survive anyway. I actually think the fire attack kills Levant faster than the poison. I don't know. See, like, this does a lot to us. Way more than the poison tail did. So maybe we want poison tail. So this is where I'm gonna get. This is where my nervousness comes in. So fire boss. We need to heal our minion to finish fire boss off. With Levant. He doesn't have a lot of health. And I don't know how much, I don't remember how much damage fire boss does to us. So I'm going to, basically I'm going to heal Levant, I'm going to let fire boss hit us, and I'm going to see how much damage it does. To work out whether or not I live. 25 plus the poison. Oh, we're fine. It's unnecessary, but I don't want to die here because I have to then capture a minion to spin minion to get money to buy another Deva's Mirror. Or I risk fighting Delphinel without a Deva's Mirror. Nice. I mean, yeah, it would do a lot more damage because fire element. Oh, bloody god. So yeah, they're both level 15. More damage because it's fire element in the arena. That's what you want to happen against the Earth boss with an Earth minion so that you one-shot him before he even summons Delphinel. But okay, we're doing alright. So our minion is now level 16. I think we want to kill all of the Earth boss ghosts. I think that's next on the agenda, so that'll get us to level 20 and a half. Yeah, I'll get us level 20 and a half on our minion. Then we kill 2 spirals. Yeah, that gets us to level 21. Then we merge our minion with a bunch of spirals, if we can manage it. Oh, right. I have no health. This ain't gonna be good. It's too late to sleep spores to dodge this thing. Do I just switch into... I think I just kill it with Arp Patrol. And then I heal the bot. It's fine, it doesn't have much physical defense. Oh, tried using Drain Mana on me. This is the minion you want to capture if you want to get Drain Mana. But they're so magically oriented that it would really mess with our stats for a bit. Of course, because we aren't killing the Wind Boss, we can actually move between the Spider and Dragonfly the Dark Spider and the Dark Dragonfly Forest freely. Well, freely enough. I have the wrong warp every time I want to get back into the Dark Spider Forest, but... So if I really need to get Drain Mana, I can. But I don't think we're going to need it, really. I forgot to use the Seep Spores again, if you couldn't tell. I don't think the Seep Spores in the Dark Spider Forest are necessary. Like at all. Two Zulmus. Okay, let's escape anyway. Yeah, that one Arbitron's got to carry us all the way to victory. I think level 21 is the same level as Delpha now. I believe, possibly a bit lower. Delpha might be level 21, but I think Delpha is level 22. 15, 17, 19. No, I think he's 21 actually. Oh. I should actually sit up properly so I can actually see what I'm doing. That might be right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Let's sit correctly so I can actually see what I'm doing. Be a wise thing to do at this stage. Oh, that's probably right, but it's an awkward angle, so I don't want to. Yeah, there you go. Give myself a bit more space. Do the run up. There we go. Come on. Come on. Oh, that might be a bit early. No, it was also right. Okay. Worrying about it too much. Yeah. I forget that the hitbox is so far out on this one. When you're transitioning. Like, I feel like I'm looking at Levant's feet. Like where the shadow is. I'm just like, oh, that's miles out, and it's not. It's literally on it. I'm just not reacting now. I keep saying press circle now in my own head, and then not doing it for like a fraction of a second later, and that's causing me to just miss repeatedly. It's gonna be too far out now, isn't it? Okay, cool. Whether or not the dragon spawns there seems to be pretty random. I expect it's technically not random at all, but... Because I know some things that can cause the memory addresses that it doesn't load. It's like if the minion it's expecting to load there is not the right species, like not a related minion, then it can cause it to not load, or it's just a completely different minion. So like you can tell it to say that that minion is a, like in the first forest, you can say that that's a Turwasp, and it'll render a Patimal or a Squasp. But when you fight it, it'll have all the properties of a Turwasp. It will act like a Turwasp. It'll have the AI of a Turwasp with the right elements, strength, everything. Except it'll look like a Patimal. Like it'll be red and yellow. But if you If you then capture it and purify it, it then turns into the right model. But if I try to do the same thing and say it's a Mardrag, then instead the primal doesn't render at all, and you can't fight it. Alright, that's the first one. There's precisely one point. Maybe I should have picked up a fourth sleep spores, because when in the any percent run, I'm not sure if there's a point in the fourth really. But in this run, there definitely is a point in the fourth. Because when we want to escape from the last Earth boss ghost, it's quite a lot easier if you have some sleep spores with you. Yeah, maybe it's trying to spawn a different enemy there, and that's why it doesn't do it correctly. This fight is absolutely unnecessary, by the way. There is no real reason to do this, but if we fight two Oglums, they're faster to kill than spirals. And if we defeat two of them, that's the same as defeating one spiral. I was hoping for a little bit more damage there after all. An attack, of course, doing absolutely nothing to us. Oh, another liquor. Not going to complain about that. Yeah, you can see that now if we fight a spiral, we'll level up. But we'll also level up from just defeating a... We're gonna have to... Okay, we're gonna hit level 20 before we fight this next Earth boss. I may as well at this point, to be honest. Vents are very magical, absolutely no health. I'll use regular attacks to kill this one again. I want the mana back. There should be another Uglum in this area, which I guess we'll fight, since we've already fought. We've already fought 3, we may as well fight 4. The Babenza isn't really contributing to our EXP. Yeah, we just want to get to level 21. Oh yeah, level 20. I guess a little bit of extra mana we picked up from wherever else, honestly, I don't know. I guess we picked up a little bit from merging in the battle juice, but that was a trivial, like a tiny amount. But whatever, I'm not going to complain. So we're level 20, we'll fight both these remaining Earth Boss Ghosts, that'll put us at 21. At which point it's sort of foolhardy to try to level up any further. Like going to 22, it's just faster to beat Delphinel, I think, at that point. Yeah, we should two-shot the Earth Boss now. Very nice and straightforward. I'm not too concerned about having all the mana in the world. One thing I am a little bit... One thing that I may be more nervous about, rather, with regards to mana, is that we want to make sure that we have enough of it so that we can effectively use it against Kashidra, right? So Kashidra's obviously going to start in the Earth element, where using our fire attacks at that point isn't necessarily that helpful to us. Like, it's not bad, but it doesn't do anywhere near as much damage. But I don't want Kashidra to be fire, and us to not have any mana left to hit Kashidra with fire attacks. We'll give a go at capturing this spiral. They do have the highest attack stat in the game. It's kind of... It'd be foolish to not try. It will probably cost us mana to merge into our Arpatrons, but... Arpatron. You only have one. The tricky thing here, actually... We have, like... No, we don't have any magic, I didn't think so. It's going to be getting the spiral to just the right health so that we don't kill it. We want it to live on, like, 1 health. We're going to need the spiral to be very weak, percentage-wise, to catch it. Okay, so that's 1% health. Under 1% health. It's like 0.75 health. 0.74 even. 0.3, something like that. Very low. Very low. But this is a massive, massive level differential. Okay, cool. That's 15 capture levels of difference. Went from a novice to a, what are we called now? We're a hero instead of a novice. Imagine if you could get that much better at something that quickly. Well, no reason not to capture another one. We may as well have 3 spirals. I don't actually think we'll get usage out of all 3 spirals in terms of actually being useful to Arpatron, but I want to capture enough so that we can maximize the output we get from them. 77 to 85. That's too much damage. We just have to capture it as is. Our damage roll was a bit too high. Did a little bit too much damage. And 85 is kind of high to capture the spiral at, but we are now the same capture level as it. This is sort of the same as at the start when we were capturing a Mardreg at 8 health. Yeah, it was over 10% health still. The attack critical is amazing for capturing minions that might be otherwise quite hard to capture, because it puts them. If you hit a minion with critical, which is a percentage-based attack, you don't block critical in the way that you normally do. You block it like it's a status condition, and if it hits, you go to. Oh, come on, spiral spawn. If it hits you, you go to 1 health. It spawned on this side. So hitting any minion and putting it on 1 health gives you the best capture odds possible. Obviously. However, there are 2 minions that are completely immune to critical. And that is the Hakaru family and the Oze family. The Yoke family. We haven't actually seen the Yoke family during any of our runs, because to capture a Yoke, you have to go back into the Spider Forest after you've finished it, which we just don't do. But they're spiders. And they have the instant death spell. And as with most minions in this game, if you have access to an ability, this spiral is blocking everything. If you have access to an ability in a base minion, it tends to be immune to that thing. So it's like the Scroots are immune to poison because they have poison. The Mishkiras are immune to sleep because they have sleep. The Radiomels are immune to Special Stone because they have that ability. Draining from Mantis or Amasags doesn't work. And in the case of Yokes, they are immune to the instant death spell. For some reason, the Hakarus are as well. I don't know why, because they don't have the ability. Are we gonna have... Excuse me? You let me have every other spiral and now this one doesn't want to cooperate? I'm gonna have to heal here. It's very rude of you, Spiral. We do have more than enough Mugwort to go around. These meta Mugworts aren't going to be very useful in the Kashidra fight. The bitter Mugworts are what we care about there. There we go. Running the wrong way. Right, let's go fight this last boss ghost. Do I bother fighting the wind? I shouldn't bother fighting the wind boss. I can, because we're going to have to leave the forest anyway. Oh yeah, I guess I don't need the sleep spells, because I'm going to leave the forest now anyway. Just going to wait for the snake to turn to the right. There we go. I didn't heal my minion, but I probably don't need to, if I'm honest. I'll be fine. 209 is more than enough to take down the Earth boss. We only need to hit him twice. Our final minion's also going to look quite similar to the one we had in the... Sorry, in the non-elemental run. It's also going to look quite similar. It'll just be red instead of blue. I don't know if our attack stat will be comparable to that time. That minion ended up at level 23 with like 56 attack or something. We're level 21 with 53. Oh wait, we have to finish the dialogue. Oh, I'll go and leave. Can't. Alright, let's go merge these spirals in. See if we can get that attack stat a little bit higher. Yeah, a part of me wants to go fight the wind boss, but there's absolutely no reason to. Adds a lot of extra dialogue on, doesn't achieve anything. So we can already get to the Earth Forest anyway. I guess if I wrong warp into the Earth Forest and then I mess up the wrong warp, then I'll fight the wind boss. That'll be my condition. Or whether or not I bother to do that fight. So yeah, this is going to cost us our mana, but our speed is going to recover, which I care a lot about. Care a great deal about our speed. This will also buff our magic defense, which is the one thing that we're also worried about with regards to Kashidra's attack. Because Kashidra's attack is going to be the water one, the one we're scared of, is water magic attack. We don't want to get hit by water magic attack. Well, we do, but we want to be blocking at the time. And to not die. I'll tell you something that is achieved by fighting the wind boss. We might get another Tendai. Might. Though if you one-shot the wind boss before they summon their minion, then you can't get the Tendai. Because the Tendai comes from the minion, not from the boss. Boss can drop Bloody Garb. The minion drops the Tendai, so I'd have to kill Cetarian. Which I don't really want to bother doing. Because Cetarian can be a bit of a bugger with the sleep attack. I can obviously Deva's Mirror it, but and that makes the fight really easy. But I only picked up 2 Deva's Mirrors. Could you let me leave, Amosite, please? Okay, I mean it's gonna do the second one, and then I'm gonna have to switch into our minion because it's not being cooperative. I'll just use regular attacks and it should die pretty quickly. Well, I wasn't expecting it to block, to be fair, in my defense. Yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot. Oh, come on. It doesn't do a whole lot to us anymore. Because we are, you know, 8 levels higher than it. Could you stop? Do I use Rend Wings on it? I did absolutely nothing. Stop blocking! What is this? We're gonna be here all day. You hit me for 9 damage. Finally, Jesus. That minion's got a problem. I also noticed that Arbitron's tail is now going through the ground. Which can't be healthy. I should almost certainly heal Levant. There's a dongle up there. But I don't think there'll be any encounters between now and us warping into the Dark Spider Forest. When I go to do the wrong warp, I'll heal Levant then. Right. Do this one more time. Oh, that looks early. It's right though, isn't it? It was. Stop. Okay, I gotta stop doing that. I already know I'm almost always right with this one anyway. There's no reason to do that. No reason to doubt myself. And I'm almost always right anyway. I find when I do a run up, I'm a bit better at it. At getting the timing down. I think it's just muscle memory though. That looks so far out, but it's still right. I guess cease this tomfoolery. To be fair, if this was an 80% run, I would have just gone because, you know, either that is early. Either I hit it or... Is that still right? That's miles out. Now, watch this be the one time where it's wrong. It still looks wrong to me. I'm just doing it because I'm sick of waiting. It's still right. It's still right. I know nothing. I'm an idiot. Whatever. I might be facing the wrong angle. Facing the wrong way a little bit. Facing too far sideways. Nope. Okay, cool. That's sleep spores. Oh, I guess this is where the sleep spores is. If that's a spiral, then there's a use of the sleep spores. I think in every single run I've done, that's been a dragon. Is dragon the right name? I think dragon's the right name. Don't want to touch the para there. Tragaran. I really need to like consolidate that into my memory. It's a Tragaran. I never say that. I always say Tergor, which is the earlier dragon. Please don't be a Papara. Okay, cool. Or a... What are they? Radpara? Radpower? Radpower? Radpara? I don't actually know. But they're the try encounter. I might actually want that try encounter when I'm doing the random minion one. Alright. hopefully we get this in one. So, I'm not too worried about Delta now. I'm not too worried about Levant because our attack stat is so high. It's what, 55? With 41 speed? Fifty-five attack is very high. If our minion was Earth, I absolutely would now try the one shot on the Earth boss. But I kind of want the 10 die. Because that'll save us from the laser. The 10 dies will save us from laser beams. I don't know how many laser beams we're going to have to deal with. But we only have 5 fire attacks before we're out of mana. To be fair, we didn't sell our old ones. We still have 2 10 dies. I think Levant's going to die more likely than the other outcome. But yeah, if I was going for just kill the Earth boss, I would have summoned Ultron before and then just attacked as Earth and just smacked him. So he's either level 20 or 21. And I'm not sure which one it is. We may already get a double turn there, but... So he's acted once. So if this was Mardreg, it's the 3rd attack that you get a double attack on. But I don't know when it is for a minion like this. On the 2nd attack. That's a little confusing. Is that going to be consistently every 2 attacks? It'd be nice if it was. I was hoping for Stomp. We only have one more of those, Oh, do I block? I think I block for mana. It may have been a mistake. Well... I think we'll avoid getting flesh to stoned. I was kind of expecting him to do another attack, but I think we just do a regular. Okay, no, we don't do a regular. Regular does nothing. Okay, that's fine. So we'll switch to Levant. Levant will heal up Arpatron. With the double turn, I didn't want to switch into Levant and then lose the turn. Levant is still faster than our minion, but I do not know. I don't know the specifics of how that transfers. In terms of summoning using up a turn or not. I just know that the speed disparity can make a difference. That's going to do a fair bit to Levant. See what I mean by a fair bit? Almost instant death. I think while you're wearing Ricketts's garb, though, they intentionally made it so none of the bosses one-shot Levant. They get pretty close, but none of them actually one-shot him. Yeah, we just needed the mana. We should now pretty tidily take down the Earth boss. Yeah, it's still a 2-hit. Okay, now let's see if we can get Kashidra. Oh, got 10 die. Ah. What level are they then? Okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's use that Great Walnut and heal our Arptron. So this is the scary fight. How do I approach the Kashidra fight? Do I save my mana to try to maximize damage by only using it when they're in the earth element, or do I just use it for the sake of getting my mana used? I do need my minion to survive. Well, I don't need him to survive the laser. I need it to at least almost survive the laser. I need it to survive to the point that when Levant switches back in, Kashidra's next action isn't to laser us to death, but is to switch to a different element. Basically. I don't know if Kashidra can... I think Kashidra can laser 3 times. I think Kashidra has the ability to stay in any element for 3 turns. But is most likely to be 2 turns. Discounting the element swap turn, so it's swap into that element, attack twice, swap out of that element. So like swap to water, laser, laser, swap to earth. The problem is that if we are wrong when we go to revive our minion after laser number 2, and Kashidra lasers again, I think Levant just dies. Like I think we just die to the laser in one shot. Which could be very sad for our run. It'll be the first challenge run we have where we die to Kashidra. We actually haven't needed to... We've had some very, very close calls, but we've never had to come back to this fight to try again. But one minion run is... If there ever was a run where we would have to come back again, it's when we're using only one minion. So I think the strat is to... use... We have 52. I think we do use our fire attack, and then we hope Kashidra switches quickly. Like we use fire attack, then regular until Kashidra is wind, then we smack Kashidra repeatedly. I don't want to use too much mana while Kashidra is not an element that favors us. How much regular attacks even do to Kashidra? Not very much. So there we go, switch to air. And that consumes a turn. Oh, Kashidra got a double turn on us? Lovely. Love that for us. Oh, switches immediately to fire? That's not good. We got a lovely bit of damage on Kashidra there before, while they were out. Not a fan of that. Don't know which is worse. I think fire magic actually is probably the better of the two. Okay, here comes the laser. We're now going to start blocking. If Kashidra heals, Kashidra heals. I think if you block, Kashidra always heals, to be fair. No, okay. Okay, we lived. We now need Kashidra's next turn to be switched to Earth. Like, we need it to be. If it's not, we're in trouble. I think Excellent Liquor is good enough. Liquor, rather. Okay, switch to Earth. Now give us a turn, please. begin again. If we can get Kashidra to stay in wind for a little bit longer, then I think we quite quickly make short work of them then, I think. That's going to do a bit. We don't have a lot of health, that's the one concern. Or a concern. Okay, switch to air. Don't get a double attack on us this time, maybe? A good chunk. Shidra always does at least one attack in each element. Okay, it's looking good. Urena is fire element. Has a lot of damage. Do I use regular attacks or do I... I think I use regular attacks because the amount of damage the Chosen One's doing. I was a little bit off on my time because I wasn't expecting that attack to finish him off. But we did it! 723 HP. HP limit of 999, of course. 59 attack. Very nice. 2 levels, only 1 time to speed go up. Stats grow way faster when your minions are low level. So there we go. Jade Cocoon, but only using 1 minion instead of 2, which the any percent run does, and instead of 3, which a casual player would do. I was a little bit nervous about that laser. That laser could have absolutely ruined our hopes and dreams. But that was actually very reasonable. That was a very reasonable Kashidra fight. I was expecting to take way more damage than I did. Like, way more. Or for us to do less than we did. We did maximize the amount of damage our minion could do. And that really made short work of Kashidra, I think. If they'd stayed in the wind element for longer, if we'd had like the 3-turn wind element, that would have been amazing. It would have been so much damage. Yeah, all it takes is an Arbitron, and knowing what to merge into the Arbitron to maximize its attack stat. We didn't necessarily need to merge in those spirals, I just wanted to for the extra speed. Increases our accuracy. I definitely think it was worth doing. Maybe not necessary, but definitely worth it in terms of safety. I know how Margaret comes out of the cocoon, but it's never revealed if she loses the wings. Like, the implication is that she's fine and she doesn't have wings anymore, but you don't see her lose the wings. Alright, I stand corrected. I'm blind.
When the 4 divine barriers are dispelled, the power of light and darkness shall usher in the time of gathering. Kumari and Kaya, the guardian deities of light and darkness, shall be released by the twin dragons of Kemu. The chosen ones of light and darkness shall meet, and only
Wings
then
were high on
will
her
the
back, right? They
accursed
weren't like
ones
at
be
waist
granted
height.
repose.
Because they could still be there if they
Man
were
shall
waist height, if we
obtain
don't
yet
see
another fruit of
I think we do, to be fair. I think we do see that she does
but
have them.
it shall bear the seeds of responsibility.
Why did she get wings in the first place, though? Like, I guess she went in a cocoon, but why did she get wings? I really need to go through the lore again of this game. It's been so long, I don't even remember why. But anyway, that was Jade Cocoon, but only one minion. Don't need Mardrag. Just need to merge Mardrag into other minions. That minion will be strong enough. So next time we are going to be doing the random minion spawns, where I don't know what minions we're going to encounter at any point in the game. Bosses will still be all the same, but we may get absolute garbage in terms of what minions we encounter, or we could get some very, very good ones. You get a level 1 Spiral, which would be amazing. That would actually be incredibly good. But there's no guarantee of Mardrag. We're not going to be using the tutorial fight, so we won't necessarily even get Arpatron. And we're just going to have to see what we get. We're going to spend way more time in each forest, because I want to see what minions we actually ended up with. And then following that, we will probably do either the secret minion run, where we're only allowed to use the secret minions, but that will be a vanilla, unmodified game, where we will obtain them the legit way. We won't just spawn them in at the start. Or we will do a Nuzlocke following that. So one or the other. So I hope you guys come around for that, because I'm very excited to do that. Both the Nuzlocke and the random minion run. Just save, why not? 146, that's not bad at all. For the internal timer, of course. Yeah, I have no idea if it'll work for everything, to be honest. I just changed the memory addresses and tested that it worked on the spawns that I thought it did, but it may have some weird interactions, we'll find out. It'll be a bit experimental, but I'm very excited to see how that turns out. I'll actually be able to use some different minions for once. It won't be me going Mardrag good, Arpatron good, you know, XYZ minion are good. Capture lots of those, use those every single time, because they do just sort of do everything. I mean, I say that until, like, you know, Arpatron's replaced with a Mardrag, in which case I'm like, well, I can't look a gift horse in the mouth. But alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this run. I will be doing my any percent runs tomorrow instead of what would have been yesterday. And we'll be back with our usual schedule next week, hopefully. And yeah, we'll get that random minion run done. I actually can't wait to do that. It's tempting for me to do it sooner, but I need to not. I need to pace myself. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching.